Wow, what a weekend in professional golf. We've got Bobby Mack winning the Scottish Open, which we predicted, no big deal. Five-way playoff at the Oppo Field PGA Tour event. The shortest LPGA major winner ever? Question mark. Celebrity swings from the American Century Championship. Some inside info from our guy Parky, working at the golf course out in Tahoe. The finish at LIV Andalucia was unbelievable. And I got to go to the Korn Ferry Tour event and see another insane finish from Cristobal del Solar. We'll break it all down for you on this Winner's Circle Monday edition. Great, Scott. Big Drive Energy Monday Winner's Circle edition. What a weekend for not only us, but professional golf. I would venture to say one of the most insane weekends in professional golf, especially a non-major weekend that we've had in a long time. Before we get into breaking that all down, talking about our weekend, we have a quick PSA, public service announcement. We're clipping this, by the way, too. This is going straight up on our social media shortly after this podcast. You can have the floor.
Yeah, so we've shot a few videos at a few unnamed country clubs recently that have the country clubs have asked us to take them off social media because it doesn't represent them, correctly, and they're worried about their image. So just want to put this out there. When we're making these videos, it's a joke. We're playing a character. We're not being ourselves. We're not representing ourselves. We're simply making a joke. We're doing a skit and making it funny. So anybody that's taking it this serious, like I got so fucking annoyed earlier. This whole situation is so annoying because when we make content that we think is funny and we want to put it out there, and these places ask us to take it down just because they don't like it. And in all honesty, this will be the last time we take shit down. If we post something, it's staying up, but for the last time, it's a joke. Everything we do is a joke. It's meant to be funny. It is not serious. And everybody needs to take a fucking chill pill and concern themselves with the bigger things in front of them, as opposed to us making a funny video and posting it on social media. Like it's not that serious, bro. Some of these country clubs, I'm just so turned off by country clubs at this point. And I understand you go out there, you kind of have to abide by their rules, relatively speaking, but we're not hurting anybody. We're not dragging anybody through the mud. We're not damaging the property. We're just making a video. It's like hard to wrap my head around what has gone on in these last few weeks. So without going too much further into it, just don't take us so fucking serious. This is all one big joke. We do this podcast to have fun and have a laugh and talk about golf and make these videos to laugh and make light of these situations. We're not serious people. So that's all. Spencer, I don't know if you got anything to add, but I'm just done with this bullshit.
Yeah, don't take us serious. We're a couple of fucking dipshits doing a golf podcast, recording golf content, having fun with it. We've seen all this before. We've been through this world before. This isn't us guessing. This isn't us making up things. These are real things that happen. We make it into a joke. It's not that serious. Stop making it a bigger deal than it is.
And it's funny, and some places just can't see the forest for the trees. They have so much bigger problems than us making a video, but they'd rather concern themselves with what we're putting on our social media because it misrepresents their prestigious country golfing club bullshit. It's outrageous to me.
Well, what's hilarious is, so 2 separate DMs on our Instagram from one of the videos posted at Unnamed Country Club. One is, I'd like to speak to you about your content. Next one, hey, something I did was potentially part of one of the videos. I'd love to meet you guys. Can we meet up sometime at the course? So, you got to take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I'm super frustrated by this whole scenario, to be honest with you. There's certain things that we do and don't do specifically for a reason. A lot of things we don't do in hopes that this doesn't happen. Like, we could make these a million times worse than they are. Like, believe me, a million. And maybe we just start doing that. Maybe
I was going to say, should we just try to start getting like 86 from places?
Yeah, like, maybe we start a list of places that we just can't film a video at, apparently, because we're not. And the other part is, too, I think is a little frustrating about the scenario is, if we we're not huge, obviously, right? I'm not going to name any other podcasts. There's a lot of great ones out there and teach their own golf podcasts, golf content. We don't have millions of followers, but some videos are getting 100,000, 200,000, more than that views. And that's why this is a problem, I think. If it had 5 views, I don't think it would be an issue. But so it's obviously decent content. Enough people like it. It gets into other people's algorithms, and then people get butthurt about it. So I don't want to go too deep into it anymore, because I'm already frustrated just thinking about it. And having to field calls and emails about taking my shit down I'm over it. I was already over it when the first time it happened, and now it's happened again. So whatever.
And since we're not going too deep into it, I'm just going to go a little bit deeper. These same country clubs are also hosting other golf social media brands and letting them post shit whenever they want. And at their whim, and giving them full range of content on the golf course and basically whatever they want. And I understand we're a little edgier. We're a little, we're not your good fucking nerdy circle jerk, excuse me, but not everybody's fucking, oh, what a great shot. What a this and that. Like, oh, how cool is that? Like, I mean, that is not who we are. We say funny shit. We say out of pocket shit. Obviously, nothing over the line. But the goings on here have just been blasphemy to me. Like, the fact that these people take themselves so seriously, and these country clubs are so afraid of their membership, and these old crotchety men that just get so butthurt about the dumbest shit when they have much worse things going on under their watch. And they decide to pick our video out to make themselves feel like they're, ruling with an iron fist and telling us to take our shit off social media. So from now on, if we get invited to a course and they don't want us to post on social media, I'm just not going, because a lot of what we do, a lot of when we play golf, is to make videos to post on social media. Like, we obviously play golf for fun, but that's pretty rare. Like, we're trying to build a brand here. We're trying to do this, ultimately for a living at some point, hopefully. So we're not going out there just to play hee-haw with the fuck around gang. So I'm just, I guess I'm just done talking about it, but it's just gotten to the point where it is truly, like, I didn't think the world really got that sensitive, and maybe it's just this little pocket of it, but I think it's gotten there. Like, I'm not going to go down that route, but everybody is just loves to get upset about what other people do, what other people say. And it doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess going forward, we'll just make sure we go to places where we can make content, and that is not an issue.
100%. All right, let's get into our weekend specifically. Got to fly out to your home, see Jersey and all its glory, and get to play. It was the PHLY tournament, which great event, and not necessarily just from us. Like, shout out to Valley Brook Country Club and the guys there, Brad that works there, the whole staff. Everybody was awesome throughout the entire event. It was super easy to run, and of course, we do tournaments in Chicago, we do them in Phoenix, we do them in Denver, we do them in Philadelphia. or New Jersey, I guess. It's the East Coast thing is all just a big CF to me in general. We played a tournament that was Philly, but it was in New Jersey, but we were staying in New Jersey, and it was a further drive away from Philly to New Jersey. You okay over there? You're about to sneeze?
I was about to just rip such a fat sneeze, but it just
It went away.
dissipated. Yes, it went away. So
That's an
if you see
unfortunate
me,
feeling.
yeah, if you see me turn away at any point, I'm about to just absolutely send a sneeze.
You got it. But shout out to TrueMark Financial for the Fire Stanley. I have my own Stanley now. They gave everybody Stanleys. I got a new duffel bag now. There's some great sponsors out there. Shout out to the whole PHLY crew and all the participants for the weekend. We had some great raffles to give away, a bunch of signed photos. Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus signed photos, some stuff from the Phillies, some stuff from the Flyers, some stuff from the Eagles. First round pick this year, Quinyon Mitchell. We had a signed ball from him to give away in the raffle. So it was overall just a great event. I had a great time, other than the fact that I won't disclose my mulligan of the week, which will come at the very end, but it was so hot. And I feel like I'm a little let down on myself right now because I'm always sitting here talking about how I can handle heat and heat doesn't bother me. And I guess humid heat is a completely different scenario. So I was getting absolutely cooked like a turkey in that humidity after a couple of days of rain and then 85, 90 degrees. I've never sweat so much in my life.
You definitely, like, when you deal with this type of humidity, you're sweating in parts of your body you didn't know you could sweat from. Like I told you, dude, like when every inch of your body is covered in sweat. Like yesterday, I'm pretty sure my boxers were just stuck to my body. Like they were just fucking drenched. I'm sorry, this was on Saturday. But there's situations like that where you're like, I don't want anything more than to just get home and just get in the shower and put on some clean clothes because you just feel like the most disgusting human being on the planet. But yes, it legitimately feels like you're in a sauna. Like you walk outside, and I've never in my life wanted wind more on a golf course than I have these last few days out here in New Jersey because it has just been brutally hot. I mean, even today, dude, I'm having this problem. I'll save it for my mulligan of the week, but when it gets hot, like I get a stomach ache. When my body gets that hot, like I don't know what happens, but something goes on. But I'll save that for later. But what did you think of Old Bridge Golf Club? We got to play out there, the course that I teach at.
Are they going to ask us to take our player A and player B video down?
No, that is one of the things that was made clear is shout out Ryan, the director of golf GM out there. He's the man. Pretty much gives me free reign, free run of the course to shoot content, to give lessons, all of that stuff. So he's been amazing. The course has been amazing. But honestly, this is my first time playing. I've played the first 14 holes multiple times, but I had never finished because I either had lessons or whatever. So this is my first time playing all 18, and I love the golf course. Like I think it really is truly a really fun track. Just a lot of different aspects of it, but from a third person perspective, Spencer, what did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. And I think one of the coolest parts about it is you can tell it's a newer golf course. Obviously the clubhouse is new. Everything's new because it is new. How many more times can I say brand new, brand new, brand new? But the feel of the actual like grass and the greens and everything just felt like it was like you love the old school, like, this thing's been here for 100+ years feel, but I've never really played a golf course or been on a property that is still growing into itself essentially. And it wasn't like, if you didn't really know, I don't think you'd be able to necessarily tell. And like, there wasn't like issues where you're like, oh, this is clearly not how it's supposed to be, but it's just a new course. So it's growing into it. But the greens were phenomenal. There was rain, so it was pretty soft. I couldn't make anything, but that's just a typical day for me on the golf course. And I just love the fact that it's like it felt open, the actual golf course itself, but the property itself was closed. Like trees, high, super like tall trees all around it. And so that was kind of a cool feeling. It almost felt like a link style, but then there were some holes where you're just going into trees, back out of the trees, kind of back and forth in terms of holes next to each other and everything like that. So overall, I just loved the facility, loved the place. The guys, everybody was nice around there, even to you, which is surprising, or even though the fact that I was with you, pretty surprising that they treated us as well as they did. But overall, incredible place, and I'm jealous. You know, now I know where you're like teaching at and where you're playing at, so I'm pretty jealous because it was sweet.
I love that, dude. I appreciate that. And it truly has been an amazing spot. I've been enjoying it quite a bit out there. And then also, like you said, shout out the tournament down in Philly. We had a blast. We basically shot 13 under between the two of us for a scramble. So Chris did make a few putts, but
And hit
it
a
was
few drives that saved us. Shout out Chris.
He actually did.
Social
That is
media
true.
manager at PHLY.
Yeah, he was dope. He was a blast. He lit up a cigar when we were still sitting in line in our carts waiting to go out on the course, and I was like, this dude gets it. Like, he had a double transfusion. He was ripping stogies, and there's just no better smell when you go out on the golf course than a fresh stove. So I was a little jealous, but they just make my mouth taste like dog shit. So I just stick to the nicotine. I stick to the Lucy's. But the smell of the cigar always gets me going.
Yeah, you rolled us right into the beautiful timing of Lucy Nicotine. It is one of our newest partners, if you will. And one of the things I noticed about Lucy Nicotine this past weekend, because like you said, I was rolling. I was tempted to ask Chris for a puff of his cigar, but I was rolling with the Lucy Nicotine. And it's amazing how even when you're drinking, how much longer like a Lucy lasts than any of the other nicotine products we've ever used. And I remember even on Saturday, I made it through the first like 5 holes with one Lucy in my mouth, which is like insane to me because a lot of the other nicotine pouches I've used, it's no joke. I have to stave myself off to get to a third hole without flipping it, especially if I'm drinking, some Coors Light or whatever. But Lucy is 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. They have pouches, gum, and breakers, which are incredible because they have a capsule of liquid flavor that helps resaturate the pouch. They're available in 4 and 8 milligrams. My favorite flavor is, well, I actually can't say I have a favorite flavor because I'm torn between 2. I've got the wintergreen and I've got the apple ice. Those are my 2 favorites. There is another one that I'm excited to try. I think it's like a berry scenario. So I'm excited to try that one. But apple ice right now and wintergreen are my 2 favorites. I use the 8 milligrams in the wintergreen and the 4 in the apple ice. The 8 milligrams wintergreen, they slap, but I've gotten used to them. And I don't think I'll ever go back to any other nicotine product that I used to use. So I'm always using it on the golf course. I'm using it at work. I'm using it wherever. Make sure you get your Lucy. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/BDE and use that promo code BDE to get 20% off your order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co, code BDE to get 20% off. And as always, free shipping. You also get an additional discount if you make that a subscription, which you should definitely do. That way you're not making gas station trips. You're just getting it delivered to your door. Super easy. You're always stacked up on the Lucy's. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Also want to tell you about our friends over at Bet365. It's a Monday pod, so we don't have any picks for you yet, but we have a major week coming up, the final major of the year. I always get the scaries a little bit when this happens, but we've got the Olympics, we've got President's Cup. So a few of those things are kind of keeping my golf mind going, my excitement mind, but love watching
the tour championship, the Rory McIlroy Cup. We've always got that to look forward to as well. And you haven't mentioned that we hit a winner this week on Bet365.
Well, you didn't
with
let
Bobby
me get there. That's where I was getting is the fact that we gave out a winner last week. We're 2 outright winners of the last 4 events, the U.S. Open, the Scottish Open. So anything with open in it, the Valero Texas Open, those are our 3 this year. So we are literally, we're
state
winner.
open grifters.
Yeah,
or we're state/national open grifters.
This next tournament is literally called the Open. That's the only 2 words it's got. So we are guaranteed to hit a winner this week on the Bet365 app. Use that code ALLCITY when you sign up, and you get a choice of a first bet safety net of $1,000 or betting $5 and getting $150 in bonus bets when you sign up with that code ALLCITY. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But we bet that each ways 1 through 12. We hit No Dog Colin Morikawa in a T4. Shout out to him for that pick. Tommy Fleetwood going on the blacklist. He is done officially. Had a little, got us on the verge on Thursday. Got to 10 under starting the weekend, and then just played like complete chotch for the final 36 holes. Not shocking there. Thomas Dietrich and who was my other pick? Dietrich and
I had Tom Kim as well.
Tom Kim. Ben Kim almost got himself into the top 12. He was right on the edge after shooting 66, and the scores were incredible on Sunday, just from how low the guys went that played early. And then other than like that Rosner dude, everybody that played in the afternoon was kind of batting it around. You see Wyndham Clark, before I even woke up, Wyndham Clark had already shot 63 or something like that. So let's just get into this. We'll get into the Scottish Open right now, and shout out to you. I'll let you have the floor if whatever you want to say about Bobby Mack. But first, roll the tunes.
Well, I can't hear the bagpipes. Wow, this is incredible podcasting. Hopefully honestly, it's probably a good thing that I can't hear the bagpipes, because that shit makes me cry. Like, I am not a huge crier, but I don't know what it is. When I hear a bagpipe, I just start tearing up. Like, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. Something just hits deep inside of me. But what I do want to say is that now I know how you feel when you and I play in a golf event together, because you've been carrying me all season with these betting picks. So I'm now in your position where I feel like I contributed. I made a birdie, maybe call it an eagle. I hit a pretty good sized winner. It wasn't any Scotty Scheffler plus 450 bullshit, plus 2,500. So I feel very good about that pick. And it was just the coolest possible finish. Like, we already clipped what we talked about last week and put it out on social media, but this dude is just an A1 guys being dudes type of dude. He was like, I may tee it up on Thursday at the Open still drunk. Like, he's going to party his bag off these next few days. And like we talked about with Colin Morikawa not having any dog in him, I feel like Bobby Mack has the exact opposite. He's got so much dog in him. Like, he hit some of these shots, and it was just so funny to watch transpire, because Ludvig Åberg is like the hair of the tortoise in the hare, and Bobby Mack is the tortoise in this situation, obviously, and partially because he's kind of taking forever to play, and Åberg is like flying around, like plays fast as shit. But then also, like, Åberg started off hot, and it really looked like nobody else had a chance. And then he sputtered out towards the end. And by the way, Åberg has not broken 70 on a Sunday since the Masters. So potential bum watch, bust, not who we thought he was type of guy, type of watch for Ludvig Åberg. He's still one of the favorites at the upcoming Open this week, but he did not play well. And then down the stretch, Bobby Mack, I think he's got no shot. He makes that 40-footer on 14. Unbelievable. Bangs it home. I was like, holy shit. And then I was kind of like, oh, he's got an outside chance. At this point, Adam Scott was leading. And then he gets that miraculous drop. He hit driver like shit. I've never watched a tour pro play at that high of a level. And between the Canadian Open and the Scottish Open, the dude is hitting driver left and right, fucking spraying it all over like a 10 handicap. And somehow, and I'll ask your opinion on this here in a second, because the drop was a little bit contentious, but he gets the great break with the drop. But then people don't like want to give him credit. He hit it to fucking 7 feet from like 220 yards out, hits it to 7 feet, makes eagle. And then obviously everyone saw the last putt. He clutches up from 20 feet, makes the 20 footer on 18 to win. So truly a storybook finish at that tournament. Couldn't have scripted it any better. But what did you think of like the Äberg situation? What did you think of Bobby Mack's drop? Because everybody on social media was so up in their feels about him taking that drop. But when Wyndham takes a drop, it's fine. Like, everyone just wants to defend their own guy, but legitimately, he unearthed a sprinkler head. He had a sprinkler head under his foot. What was he going to do? Not take a drop? It was a stroke of luck, and he took it and he capitalized.
Yeah, no, so a couple points to get to from what you just said. I was talking with John here in the office this morning, and he mentioned it. And now that I think about it, that's 3 straight between the U.S. Open, 3 straight Opens, U.S. Open, Scottish Open, and the Masters, I guess, 3 of the bigger events of the year.
The Masters Open?
The Masters Open, the Augusta National Open, is Ludvig Åberg's had a lead on the weekend and not converted once. Now, it's not full, doomsday territory because the kid is 22 years old. So you're not going to say like he's never going to win one. Like he's not in Tommy Fleetwood territory yet. But the idea that he has had 3 leads, and I think it was even on Sunday morning when I texted you, I was like, this is over. He had a 3-shot lead. Mac was struggling. Adam Scott hadn't caught fire yet. A couple of the guys that had caught fire got to like 14. I want to say Wyndham. And, looking at the names on the leaderboard, you're like, okay, somebody else is going to have to catch fire from 10 or 11 to make some noise. And I thought Åberg was going to walk away with it. And then he started making some mistakes. He was hitting driver everywhere. But I don't want to take too much attention off of Bobby Mack because I remember how pissed off you were in the Canadian Open because we had a winner or close to a winner. And Bobby Mack ended up winning that tournament. And, betting makes you a fan of whoever. And that's how we're always going to be. Like we have golfers that we like and don't like for sure on the PGA Tour and other tours. But when you're behind a guy and you got some money behind it with the Bet365 app, you're always paying a little bit more attention or in that guy's corner for the week. But dude, the guy, you called him out for it in the RBC. Now he wins. But dude, he just is a maniac. His overall golf game is just maniacal. He's making 40 footers. He's hitting it all over the map. He's like, when I wanted him to make a charge, he had it was 5 or 6. He had a 92-yard wedge shot, I remember, and he hits it to like 40 feet, not even close. You're like, okay, he's done, and he somehow gets it done. I don't think there's anything more electric. Maybe in sports, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, is I don't think there's anything more electric than when a golf tournament is won on the last shot. And we've got multiple of those to talk about, to be honest, from this week. But there is nothing more electric than a guy having a putt that he's walking 150 whatever yards, knows that if that goes in, it's over. It's like a walk-off field goal, walk-off home run. But in golf, it's like such a harder feat. If you have a 4-footer, yeah, it's a little less, unless you're Rory McIlroy or Anirban Lahiri, it's usually not too hard to make something inside of 4 feet to win a tournament. But the fact that he had a 22-footer to win his home country's Open with did you see all the fans, like early coverage when he's on like 3, 4, 5, all the cute little Scottish like kids that had their Go Bob signs. They had the Scottish flag on there, the flag of Scotland. This like little cardboard signs with, just kids going out to an event, and everybody was cheering for him, and he comes through.
Yeah, 100%. And he is going to inspire, those little kids are going to be like, I remember watching Robert MacIntyre win the Scottish Open here, and that's what, pushed me to be great. And that is like one of the coolest things in sports, is seeing the younger generation get inspired by the current generation. But yeah, I mean, the dude drove it all over God's creation, but his game is like, and he had such an electric press conference after. He's like, I was born to fight. Like there is no give up in him. There is no fucking lay down Colin Morikawa style and let Adam Scott pet your belly like you're a fucking house dog. I just can't even put into words how clutch that was. And to make those putts to put himself in that position, But I will say on your Ludvig Åberg point, I think yesterday, statistically speaking, compared to the strokes gained or strokes gained total, yesterday was his worst single round of the entire season. He dropped 4.5 strokes to the field yesterday, and it's just wild because you watch a dude like you look at Ludvig Åberg and you wonder how he ever hits a bad shot, how he doesn't win every week. Like his swing is so mechanically sound. Excuse me. It's so repeatable. He's got a solid short game. It feels like he stones inside of 10 feet with the putter. But I honestly think that Bobby Mack got in his head a little bit yesterday with unintentionally, because he called a rules official over on 14. And that was kind of a big swing for Ludvig versus Bobby Mack, where Ludvig was at that point, he was at 15 under and had a good look at probably being able to make birdie there. Hits it just in front of the green in 2, but he's playing so quick because they actually did get put on the clock. And what's funny is everybody knew, like, it was not Ludvig Åberg one bit. It was all Bobby Mack. And I generally give people shit for playing slow, but I love Bob MacIntyre, so I'm not going to say anything. But when Ludvig fucking just laid the sod over that chip shot and it rolled right back to his feet, I was fucking cracking up. And even my girlfriend, we were watching it together, and she goes, it's so funny how, like, you normally root for Ludvig, but like you said, when you've got your guy, she's like, and now you're motherfucking him, and every shot he hits, you're like, get in the bunker, fucking miss it all. And I'm not ashamed to admit I root against dudes. Like, everyone, when they're golf fans, are like, you don't want somebody to lose. I'm like, fuck that. I want to see them make quadruple bogey. Like, I don't care if my pick wins by 17 shots. If it's my pick, he can win by 1,000,000 for all I care. I mean, obviously yesterday's finish was electric, but yeah, Ludvig just kind of choked down the stretch. And I mean, we'll obviously get into it on Wednesday, but he's another favorite for the Open Championship now. And I'm like, I kind of get it because he's been there now 3 times. He's been in contention at every major, but he's also not even looked close to himself on these Sundays. So it is kind of hard to think that he's going to get it done. Like, I'd be more inclined to pick Bobby Mack again next week. Crazy enough, I don't think he's going to go back to back, because we know how hard that is. But I'd be more inclined to pick him because this dude just finds a way to win. Like I said, nothing is that pretty. Nothing is that well done. It's not as aesthetically pleasing as Åberg's golf game, but he just clutches up and hits shots when he needs to. And well, what was
Bobby Mack versus Ludvig Åberg is the perfect example of why golf is such an amazing sport, because you look at the two of them and you look at Åberg's golf swing, and Åberg's he's like a legitimate robot built in a golf swing factory with everything he does. He's tall, he's strong, he hits it a mile, he does everything solid. And then you got Bobby Mack over here looking like a goofball, playing in his home country, spraying it all over the map and just banging in putts, and then doing it again on 18 and just continuing to win tournaments against guys like this that seem unbeatable. Now, we obviously know that Åberg is not unbeatable, especially on a Sunday when it matters, but seeing guys like Bobby Mack prevail over Ludvig Åberg, if you just it's like the little giants almost.
Oh, 100%. And it's a great underdog story that you root for. But real quick, I want your opinion on that drop. What did you think of it? Like, so many people were calling bullshit on it, and I personally thought it was I thought it was completely fine.
I mean, a sprinkler head's a sprinkler head's a sprinkler head. The rules are the rules. They hose people more often than not. And if it came to a fact where it ended up helping him win a golf tournament, then so be it. But I think overall, I'm fine with the drop. It's just, there's how many PGA Tour players get saved, or professional golfers get saved by grandstands and things like that. This is no different in my mind. He ended up getting some luck, and every single golf tournament that's won, there's some luck involved here or there. So I have no problem with it. He was on a sprinkler head. They could have said no. They could have said, no, that's not a sprinkler head, or no, that's not a free drop, and they didn't. So it's within the long annoying rules of golf, but sometimes it works to your advantage, and there it did, and he took advantage of it and won the tournament. So I'm totally good with it.
I completely agree. I had no problem with it. One other thing, well, I mean, Colin Morikawa, I'm basically done with him at this point as well. I don't think he's going to, like I said last week, I don't think he's going to win another major this year, next year, maybe ever. Until he just doesn't have that like that fight in him. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it just looks like he lays down and lets the course beat him. He doesn't overpower the course by any means. But what I was getting at is that, do you know what made me feel old this weekend was watching Adam Scott. Like, oh, watching Adam Scott almost got me a little bit in my feels because he's been that dude that's just always been there. Like since I've been a fan of golf, the last 15 years, he's always been there. He not always winning, but he is like one of the classiest dudes in the game.
He's
He
played in
dresses
every
so
major since we cared about golf, every single one.
yeah. Yeah, he's always been there. He's the classiest dude. He dresses so well. He carries himself so well. He's a good-looking dude. He's just a man rocket. He's got the Australian accent, and the swing is just silky as always. But I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, this is, I would say Adam Scott is widely known as probably the best-looking dude on tour. And she goes, he looks kind of old. And I'm like, holy fuck, like that hit me because I'm like, this dude, I remember him being like in like surfing commercials. Like he's just like with his shirt off, he's a fucking ripped, chiseled Australian god. But just a class act. And like when Robert MacIntyre hit that or made that game winning putt, hit the putt to win the tournament, he like gave kind of a smile and was like, he was happy for him. And I respect the shit out of that. Like Adam Scott is that kind of dude that will like shake your hand and smile and genuinely mean it, but just he'll go out and try to whoop your ass, but he'll be happy for you if you beat him. Like,
Yeah,
just one of the all-time classiest, like consistent dudes of our era on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and even Sahith Theegala was drinking a beer, doing whatever, hanging out on the 18th green, and there was a picture of him getting all hyped up when Bobby Mack made the putt. So Bobby Mack's one of those guys, especially, we talked about it a little earlier this year, where he didn't feel comfortable on the PGA Tour, didn't love it because he came over from the DP World Tour. Now he's becoming, he's verging on superstar, winning twice in 3-4 months, winning 2 really important tournaments, 2 Opens, with, basically everything on the line for one, his country, and then RBC Canadian Open was his first tour win. So he's kind of coming into his own, and I think, unless the partying gets to him, if he keeps winning so much, I don't expect that to slow down. And when you're talking about partying, of course, you got to be partying with some of our favorite beer, and that is Coors Light. When you need a moment to chill or party, Coors Light is the beer we always reach for. Of course, I crushed 30 of these a couple weeks back. 32 to be exact, at the bachelor party. It was a great time.
Why don't you tell the story of the group you hit into in front of us? You bought him a couple Coors Lights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we were playing a scramble at the PHLY Liberty Open this past weekend, and we were the lead group. So basically there was nobody in front of us for a little while, or there wasn't supposed to be, but there was a couple of public groups because we didn't necessarily play the fastest, maybe the first 5 or 6 holes. We were having a good time chatting it up with the people. And I kept hitting into a group accidentally. I've never played that golf course before at Valley Brook, and there was a couple of par 4s. We were playing 1-ups. There was a couple of par 4s that were like 305 to 320, but they were uphill or couldn't really see the green, or I had no idea where I was hitting it, to be honest. And I unfortunately kept driving into these guys. I just missed the green a few times, but the cool thing is they got it. They knew. They were like, hey, this guy's driving a par 4. I can't be pissed off. And he joked that, it's like, you do that again, you're going to have to buy me some beers. So what did I do? I actually didn't do it again until I bought them the beers, but I went and we tracked down the beverage cart lady, bought them some cold Coors Lights, and went and dropped them off at their cart for hitting into them. So I felt bad. They were cool about it. They knew that it wasn't like necessarily intentional. Like I wasn't hitting onto a par 3 while they were on the green. It was a par 4. I just happened to be driving the ball exceptionally well on those few holes when it happened. So
And
Bought
I
them
will
some
say
cold
too
Coors
that
Lights.
you couldn't really see the green, so it wasn't like, oh, they're on the green. Let's just try to hit into them. They were like blind shots where we had no idea if they were on the green, where they were, and you would just hit, and then somehow you'd end up by the green. But I could definitely tell that they were a little happier after you handed them a couple of those silver bullets.
Yeah, they needed to chill. And so when it's time to chill, Coors Light is the beer that I reach for to give to people that I hit into. So when you want to hit the reset button, grab the beer that is made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Also, I didn't wear them a ton because it was a little overcast, but the Shady Rays were flowing. There was a bunch of people that even checked in and had their Shady Rays. Use that code AC35 at shadyrays.com and you're getting their best deal of the season. 35% off polarized sunglasses. I'm wearing the regular Shady Rays right now, but I've got the Green Wolves that I keep in my golf bag. Polarized sunglasses at a great price, especially if you're saving 35% with that code AC35. I always wear Shady Rays while I'm on the golf course. I always wear Shady Rays while I'm on the podcast because I don't want anybody looking at my eyes. I want to be able to look at whatever I want to, keep my eyes behind the Shady Rays. I'm being shady in my Shady Rays, as our lovely producer Marissa just said. So keep it shady. Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, they are offering their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code AC35. Get 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Get yourself some Green Wolves. They're incredible. I love them. Wear them all the time on the golf course. They change the whole look of the golf course, which I love. Even when it's overcast, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bust these Green Wolves out. They're polarized. You can see the green. You can see the slope. I still can't hit the putts on the right line, but I can definitely see what they're going to do. So, we scrambled a little 59. I feel pretty decent about that, although the par fives were insane. We had like 100 yards in, 120, just because I was absolutely bearing my driver just deep in the fairway. It was quite
Just
the show.
hitting bottom on those puppies.
So we've got multiple different tournaments to talk about here real quick before we get out of here today. We'll start with the Korn Ferry Tour event. I'll go just real quick on that. So I got to attend the Ascendant. Shout out to Blue Federal Credit Union, Ty Montgomery. He's the man. Hooked it up all week. We were out at the welcome party on Monday and then got to sit in the green suites yesterday, which was a totally different experience than the Waste Management. Just way more chill. Free drinks, free food, all that stuff. It was great. Sitting right on the 18th green. I watched Peter Quest, actually. He was playing in that event. A couple of other really good players. There was one of the caddies that walked off the green, and he was from England. I forget who he's caddying for. It's actually a kind of a formidable name, but he goes, I'm going to go watch England win the cup or bring home the Euro Cup, because they were all headed to the shop. But then there was a 3-hour delay. That turned into a treat. It was raining. It was lightning. So I was hammering Coors Lights. I had a hot dog, which was absolute gas. And then all of the snacks. They had some great snacks at the green suite. So I was feeding into all of that. But our boy Cristobal del Solar ended up winning. And so if you don't know, that's the guy that we talked about earlier on the year, PXG guy. So he's one of us. But he shot 57 on the Korn Ferry Tour earlier this year. So one of the lowest, if not the lowest score ever recorded in a professional event. And then there was actually a tie at the top of the leaderboard at the Korn Ferry event for most of the day. And he was in the final group. He had 4 holes left. He finished those 4 holes at TPC Colorado, the par 5, 3, 4, 4. He went eagle, birdie, par, birdie. 4 under in the last 4. Set the tournament scoring record at 22 under and won by an easy 4 shots. It didn't even come down to it because he just came out after the rain delay and balled the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean those specifically, those last 2 par 4s, 17 and 18 are tough golf holes. So credit to him for finishing that way down the stretch, and then also making 3 on that par 5 is no easy feat either. So those dudes are just so good. And Del Solar, if I remember correctly, that's the dude with the crazy unique swing, right? That just absolutely hammers it.
Well, yeah, it's definitely unique, and it got a lot more love because he shot 57 with that golf swing. So
Yeah.
when they don't ask how, they just ask how many.
Yep, 100%. So that was very cool. Real quick, what did you call that live event? It was live.
Andalucia.
It's
Andalucia.
it's Andalucia.
Andalucia.
Yeah,
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I'm positive it's Andalucia. I'm not you. I don't think we should be relying on you for pronunciations ever. Um, but holy shit, Anirban Lahiri pissing down his leg on the 18th, missing a less than 3-footer, doing
We
his
have
best Rory McIlroy.
we actually have that clip here.
Okay, let's roll
We're
that
gonna roll
shit.
the clip. So this is from LIV Golf Andalucia. Is that better for you? LIV
Thank
Golf
you.
Andalucia and no, next one. And so this is a straight up 2.5-footer would have won the team event and the individual event.
That is so rough. He's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Let's play it again. Listen to the. Goodness me, Anaban. What flipped this into was a playoff with Sergio Garcia, another home guy, Spain, playing in Spain, who ended up winning the individual title in front of his home. It was a big hometown advantage weekend, big home field advantage weekend in the golf world.
Did you hear that Sergio said this could be like the greatest sports day in Spain's history because of Alcaraz, the tennis player, won Wimbledon, and then Spain ended up losing in the Euro last night. But it was actually no. Wait, did they win?
Spain in the Euro? No, I think they lost. Wait, there's
No, they beat.
between Copa America and the Euro Cup, I don't know what's going on right now.
No,
Yeah,
the
Spain won.
Spanish.
Spain won.
Spain, I was going to say, yes, Spain won because England lost, which is just you set your clock to it. England choking down the stretch, fucking losing World Wars and Euro Cups. They can't win either of those. But I actually did watch soccer for the first time ever because there's not even baseball on. It's the All-Star break, so I watched both soccer games yesterday. Not as entertaining as I would have hoped, but I could see myself getting into it. But yeah, Sergio, I mean, he is now going into the Open Championship. He qualified, correct? If I remember correctly. He was at the qualifier. He may have missed though. No, he's at. Yeah, I don't think he's in. He missed in final qualifying, so he is not in the Open. But I'm sure he collected a nice $3 or $4 million paycheck from yesterday. So, and also, Spencer, do you remember Josh Hunter, your buddy from college?
Yes, absolutely. Spain
He was
through and through.
He's a member at Valderrama and was like working that live event. He was inside of the ropes. I don't know exactly what he was doing for the live event, but I mean, talk about one of the best golf courses. That's a bucket list trip. We need to get over and see Josh Hunter and play some golf in Spain because it looks unreal.
Oh yeah, Sergio's not in the Open. Unbelievable.
That's what I thought. Fucking, he'll have to throw a bitch fit in some other bunker. Real quick on the Open, do you know what's cool? It's being played at Royal Troon, and I've played Prestwick, which butts right up. Their properties are adjacent to one another. So I didn't know that Troon was that close to Prestwick, but it's right on the there's so many, I don't even remember, but there's some very cool rocks out in the ocean. Like, those big, tall, like Cannon Beach rocks out in the ocean. And then there's actually like an island out there as well that you can see off in the distance, but just one of the most beautiful properties in the world. So I'm stoked for that. Will you pronounce the LPGA Tour winner for me? Because I want to hear you say that one as well.
Okay, let me find it here.
I do not have it in front of me. I'm not going to lie, but I saw a stat that she is the shortest LPGA Tour player right now. But do you know what's honestly surprising to me is she's 5 feet tall. Like, I legitimately thought that there would be shorter women on the LPGA Tour.
Ayaka Furu.
Okay. That doesn't sound like you said it right, but I have no idea what's correct. I'm just going to assume it wasn't, but we'll let that one go. So I guess she's only 15 inches taller than her driver. But then, So if she's 60 inches tall,
That's 5 feet. So
uh,
45-inch driver.
yeah, I mean I figured she'd have that shit cut down more. I think I play a shorter driver than that. But I don't know. She probably hits it way straighter than I do, so she doesn't need any help there. She probably needs a little bit of distance. But think about this: Brian Harmon probably had to be the shortest men's major winner. We never really talked about height, but back to back years, fucking shortest major winners ever, and everybody says you need to be tall nowadays. I'm taking one for the short kings.
Short Kings, Ayaka Furu, and Brian Harmon winning majors. No problem. I do think the cool thing about the LPGA Tour, especially like for her winning her first major, is like some of the photos you see, everybody's so hyped for them. And you get a little bit of that on the PGA Tour. Like we saw it at the RBC when Adam Hadwin had the famous moment getting tackled and stuff like that. But like, it's really cool to see the camaraderie of all the ladies and like how excited they get for the other ladies winning, especially at a major championship. She said, Furu said that she just became a Star Wars fan. She loves the phrase, "May the Force be with you." She said, "I used that coming down the stretch on Sunday." Incredible stuff.
Just discovering Star Wars. What a time to be alive.
I mean, I've never watched Star Wars, so I'm still behind Ayaka.
No, I think I was just gonna say I've never watched it either, so I not really into it. Not really my cup of tea. Let's talk about Harry Hall real quick before we get to our mulligan of the week.
We have that clip as well. Let's roll that clip. Harry Hall. So just like we said, an insane week in professional golf. Probably one of the most eventful weekends in professional golf that wasn't a major championship for the men's side of it in a long, long time. And Harry Hall, here he is on, I think, the third or fourth playoff hole at the ISCO Championship.
God, Spencer really bringing the energy on the call
Bang.
Here. Oh, there you go. A little bit of energy.
I chip in to win. This is the one dude that overcame home field advantage on any tour, because this giant Englishman here won in the deep south of Kentucky in America for his first PGA Tour event. And he's kind of been scraping the surface these last couple of weeks. So cool to see him take advantage of an event like that. I believe Pearson Cootie was also in the playoff. There was 5 guys in the playoff to win, and I believe all of them would have been, if they had won the first time, that would have been their first tour win ever. So kind of electric for 5 dudes to all be in one playoff together. And did you see Harry Hall actually had to make like a 10-footer for par on the 72nd hole that broke left to right, which not a favorite for right-handed golfers just to get into the playoff?
No, I did not, but that is very clutch. He just looks like he should be like a rugby player to me. Am I wrong? Just the fact that dude is a golfer blows my mind, because he is built like a brick shit house. I could see him just running through, what are the scrums? Running into scrums, pounding through scrums. Now we're just touching all the sports here. But he is built to not to play golf. So I respect how good he is at golf, because if I was that size, I would be playing another sport.
Rugby scrum, Harry Hall versus Ludvig Åberg. Who are you taking?
Oh, Harry Hall would fucking take Ludvig Åberg's head off.
You think so?
Ludvig he's a little bit of a beanpole. He doesn't have a lot of meat on his bones. He needs to grow into his body a little bit, gain a little muscle. He's like Adam Scott's size, just a little diet Adam Scott.
I'm trying to see, it's internet's slow, but I'm loading what do you think Harry Hall's height and weight is? Oh, why is it not going to tell me that? That's annoying. Oh, here, bio. Oh, yeah, height and weight of Harry Hall.
I go 6'3", 240.
6'4", 225.
225 is light. That's that's like Scotty Scheffler saying he's a $170. I don't believe that for a second.
Oh,
and I'm not saying
Ludvig Åberg is okay. You were right on that. Guess his height and weight.
6'3", 160, 170.
Oh, for fuck's sake, 160. Akshay Bhatia is 160.
That's true. Yeah, he's not. Okay, 185.
Okay, 190. So
okay, that's on the other side of it. I think that's not true either. I don't think he weighs $190.
I weigh about $190, $195. I got a couple pounds on Åberg. He's got a couple inches on me.
You're a fucking liar.
What?
Oh,
That's
you're full
exactly how
of
much I weigh. 195 on
dog.
192 on a good day after I haven't eaten for a day and just drinking beers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just fucking lost it all.
Yeah,
You're
100%. All right. Well, did we get to everything we wanted to talk about? Was that
I
it?
think so. I think we covered all the golf events.
We got Harry Hall winning. We got Cristobal del Solar just dominating at the Korn Ferry Tour event. Great time up there in Colorado, northern Colorado, in the middle of nowhere. We got LPGA Tour winner at 5 foot tall. We got Bobby Mack winning his Scottish Open. What else? What else? I think that's it. I think we got it.
Yeah, I think your recaps
Yeah,
was
I just recap. Oh,
well done.
Liv, Anirban Lahiri missing an going for full Rory McIlroy, just absolutely whiffing.
Yes. Okay, let's move into our mulligan of the week so we can let everyone get out of here.
All right, mulligan of the week. I will start. So, as we alluded to a little bit earlier, it was hot. It was humid in Blackwood, New Jersey at Valley Brook Country Club this past weekend. And I hadn't worn a gray hat in a while. And I decided to go gray hat, gray shorts. What a mistake. I looked like an idiot with a gray hat. My head was sweating. And then I doubled down on how dumb I looked. And instead of just keeping my sunglasses, my shady rays on top of my head and covering the sweat, I decided to pour my hat full of water, which then ended up dripping on like everything. I dripped on Mitchell's back. And I'll actually give a shout out to Mitchell because he was checking people in for the tournament, asking, what your last name is, where you're starting, giving them the starting holes, telling them the whole spiel. And I dripped in a significant amount of cold water down his back, and he didn't react. Didn't at all. He looked back at me like 5 seconds afterwards and was like, "Did you mean to do that?" And I was like, I didn't know you felt it because you didn't react. So big props to you for keeping that pro shop face on.
Dude, I thought you were fucking with me. Like I thought you put an ice cube down my back or something while I was trying to talk to these dudes. But it turns out you're just self-awareness on zero because the water was literally dripping from the tip of the brim of your hat. And I was like watching it. It landed on my phone. It landed everywhere, and you just did not even see it dripping down in front of you. I will say that we were probably both a little bit hungover. We did tear it up a little bit Friday night. Had a few cocktails. I don't remember eating any of the snacks that we ate Friday night. Apparently, we got into the fucking snacks at like after the bars, and I do not recall. So
I think Mitch was feeding me a creamy at like 1 a.m.
That's ice cream for those of you who don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, oh yeah. For the record, that's a fucking very new ice cream scenario.
Yeah, that's an ice cream you make at home. And I was like, remember I got this crab dip at Costco, and I was like, I wonder what this crab dip tastes like. And then I go to open it up yesterday, and it was already open. Like we definitely got down on some of that Saturday night as well, or Friday night as well. So I was like, damn, we ate, and then a whole bag of goldfish, and fucking, we just murdered the snacks. But my mulligan of the week was pretty similar. I was grabbing some groceries today, and like, when you get into your car and it's just stupid hot, and obviously you're trying to get it on so you can get the AC on. My key, like, I don't know what it is, but my key is like jamming in the ignition, and it's not turning. Like I was fucking cranking this thing harder than I've cranked anything ever. And it
highly doubt that.
Dude, and it was just so hot. I was like about to have a panic attack. I'm like, I need to fucking, and this key is just not turning over, and I'm about to fucking break the key off in the ignition. And then my stomach, I legitimately think that being hot makes me poop. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know I just can't even explain it. I have no scientific backing, but you get me hot enough, I'm gonna poop. So I was just sitting in that stupid hot car and like turning the ignition. It was like 5 minutes. I was like, I was panicking. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Eventually got the car on, but then it was definitely like a panic run into the house to take care of what needed to be taken care of. So just one of those emergencies when you're out, you just wish you weren't out in public.
Yeah, that's not fun. No, never when you're panicking and also have that issue. I just pissed in your parking lot outside the other night because I couldn't wait any longer after we got home. All right, Marissa.
And then there was a dude watching the entire time, and I had no idea. Like this dude's just sitting in his car in the parking lot watching Spencer whip his hog out and fucking pee all over God's creation. So that was, but when you got to go, you got to go. So
1,000,000%. All right, Marissa, Mulligan of the week.
That's kind of my mulligan of the week. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't going to say anything and I wasn't going to talk about this, but so
Let's just make it public. Here
yeah,
it is.
I'm going to make it public. Christian and I like go on walks sometimes. I don't know if you guys do this with your significant others, but like we'll go to nicer areas and just kind of like look at the houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we really enjoy doing that. So he found a place that he wanted to take me, and it had like a trail behind the houses, but these are really, really nice houses in an area where like when you walk out, everybody's coming out of their like house to see why you're in their neighborhood. So I was already uncomfortable being there looking at their houses, and then all the trails had no trespass, and so I'm a rule follower. So Christian had to convince me to go on these trails anyway. Well, on our way there, we were drinking a bunch of like Coke and Pepsi and all that, or whatever we were drinking. But I downed a large drink, and Christian kept telling me to slow down because he's like, this is kind of a hike, like, and there's no bathrooms. And I'm like, whatever, stop talking to me, like, whatever. We get up on this hike, and we get to the very top. It's at least like 2 miles in. And I have to go, and I'm like one of those people who can't like hold it. Like I'm not very good at it, never have been good at it. And he's like, well, I don't know where my car is. He's like, we're kind of just hiking. And I'm like, Christian, I really need to go. And I'm one of those people that will knock on a door before going outside.
Oh my God, that's psycho.
Get the
I know.
fuck
I'm
out.
like, I'm such a weirdo. But I couldn't make it down the hill. The houses were at the base. And the way that this hill is like you can see every house. I'm sure that house can see all parts of that hill. There's no coverage, no nothing. Like you are exposed. And I had to go so bad. I just went. And I'm pretty sure a bunch of people, there were kids outside playing in the backyards. There were like,
So you could have caught an indecent exposure.
literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, indecent exposure. Yeah, sexual assault.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, but when you got to go, you got to go. Like, I mean, there's been Spencer thinks the entire golf course is his porta potty. He just whips it out.
But
I'm like, dude, there's people on that hole, like right over there, and he's just facing right towards them, fucking ripping one. I'm like, what the fuck? But when you got to go, you got to go.
But it's different for girls too. Like, we can't just pull something out. Like, we have to, like,
You got things you got to do.
you got things you got to do. So Christian did his best to like keep an eye out, but I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom saw me using the restroom. So there you go.
Solid. Love that for you. All right. Well, that wraps it up for us and our P stories for the week. We will be back Wednesday with the full preview of the Open Championship. Make sure you're following us on all the social medias so you can see all the videos we have to then take down. You get them right before we have to take them down. Big Drive Energy on Twitter and on TikTok. Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. We will talk to you guys on Wednesday for our final major of 2024. Peace.
Peace.